Alright, so last time we talked, we were talking about photosynthesis. And one of our big questions was, how often is photosynthesis happening? How quickly can it happen? Does it take a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe a year? So I wanted to bring us out into the winter garden to think a little bit more about photosynthesis and when it's happening. So in our winter garden, we don't have as much going on as we did in the spring, the summer, and even the early fall. But we do still have some plants that are green. Let's take a look at our winter rye. So when we saw this winter rye, it was small, growing, kind of like little shoots. And now it is tall, it is still getting bigger and bigger as the day goes by. It looks strong and healthy. So when we were learning about photosynthesis, we were thinking about when plants photosynthesize and how they photosynthesize and what makes plants grow. So we learned that plants use cellulose, which is a bunch of glucoses or sugars stacked together to grow and get bigger. So to make that cellulose and glucose, plants need to be doing photosynthesis. So what does that mean when I look at our winter rye and see that it is still growing in the winter? Let's look at it again. So our winter rye was planted in the fall. It started out very small and has grown up and up and up and up. So what does that mean our winter rye has to have been doing during this whole time? Is it just hanging out and stretching from everything that was in its seed? Or does it have to be doing something else? Now I want to look at a different plant. So we looked at our winter rye in our garden, and now we're going to look at something completely different. I want us to look at this tree. So this tree is different from our winter rye in almost every way. But right away, what are some things you notice about the tree? What color is it? Does it have any leaves? Does it look different from when you last saw it? So when we last learned about photosynthesis, we also talked about where photosynthesis happens. And it happens in the chloroplast, which is the part that makes plants green. So I know when I look at some of these plants in the garden, some of them are green. We see our winter rye, but looking over there at these trees, I don't see any green on them. So what does that mean about what's happening to those plants right now? So again, I just want to take a few seconds. I want you to observe this winter rye. What does it look like? What is it doing? How is it different from when you last saw it? And then look at our tree. How is this different from our winter rye? What do they have in common? What are they doing differently right now during the winter? So we're going to be thinking about all of these things today, and then we're going to think about how quickly does photosynthesis happen? So all of these different things to think about, all from questions that you all were thinking of and telling me. So I'm excited to do some exploring and some more learning. Bye everyone.